Command Sergeant Major John Wayne Troxell. I'm the United Nations Command, Combined Forces Command, and United States Forces Korea Command Senior Enlisted Leader. UFC fighters and soldiers, sailors, airmen, marine, U.S. warriors both live by a warrior ethos. That means that we have a creed that we live by that defines us as warriors. And we train ourselves to be physically, mentally, and emotionally not just tough, but hard. And we have to, because as we know in a UFC fight, it is brutality and carnage inside the cage where two men or two women are fighting and they are looking to defeat their opponent. Extremely similar in combat situations in Iraq or Afghanistan, or when we're trying to shape and deter conflict here where we are looking to defeat our enemy. And unfortunately, in combat as well, it's unforgiving and even more unforgiving than fighting because of the level of brutality there and unfortunately the death that happens there. But when it comes to preparing for both, that warrior ethos and then the level of training that we go to and the level of perfection we seek in our craft of being warriors is so similar that I think that's why you see a lot of service members and arguably the #1 fan base for UFC is the military because of those similarities. My wife and I are absolutely rabid UFC fans, and for all the reasons I stated. I'm a fitness nut, and I look at the training methods that some of these fighters have, like Mark Hunt and what he does at AKA Thailand, or AKA in San Jose, or Jackson Winklejohn in Albuquerque. Those camps and the level of training they go to continue to improve and get better. That's the way I try to do business. 33 years in the military, and I'm looking to get better physically, mentally, and emotionally, and intellectually every day. So I caught on to that. But before that, I grew up in Iowa as a wrestler. And, if you know the UFC, like you all know, the Militich training systems, produce some great fighters. One of them who's currently the welterweight champion, Robbie Lawler. But you had guys like Tim Sylvia, you had guys like Jens Pulver, and Pat Militich himself was a welterweight UFC champion. So seeing those guys, how they spawned out of that camp there in my hometown, just made me jump on the bandwagon as even more as a fan. And to this day, I'm very good friends with Pat Militich still because of that. And I will tell you, the other part of that question is what this means to the troops for the UFC fighters being here is huge. Because these men and women are here in Korea, they're away from their families, they stand ready to fight tonight and to deter any kind of North Korean aggression. And to have the fighters come in on Thanksgiving Day to take time out of their busy schedule. One, Dom Waters, who's cutting weight, and he's in here around all this turkey and all this pie, but still, him being a Marine in his past life, coming here to say thank you to the troops is huge, and the troops absolutely love it, and it even more will strengthen the bond between UFC fighters and America's finest, the warriors that make up our military.